Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 Clay County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. A few housekeeping rules, please. Tonight, we will hear three cases. We will begin with a report from the Planning and Zoning staff that will summarize each case prior to any discussion the board members may have. We will then ask the applicant to step up to the podium to ask or answer any questions and present support of their application. We ask the applicant to begin by stating their name and address for the record, as these meetings are recorded. We will then ask for any public participation that may support the case being heard, and then anyone that may oppose the case being heard. Again, asking any participant to begin by stating their name and address. Please remember the topic of discussion needs to remain pertinent to the case being heard. The purpose of the Planning and Zoning Commission is to decide if the cases heard tonight are to be approved or denied. The decisions on cases heard tonight must be appealed within 7 days of the Planning and Zoning Commission decision to the Clay County Commission. The County Commission will review and decide the cases heard tonight on May 16th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in this room, although some cases will not go to the County Commission. Please confirm with Planning and Zoning staff if your case will or will not go before the County Commission. Could we begin tonight with a roll call of attendance?
Yes, Chairman. Terry Griffin.
Present.
David Rodas.
Present.
Mike Brinkley.
Present.
Jerry Nolte.
Here.
Tom Decker.
Present.
Mark Beggs. Randall Morris. And Chairman Brad Scarlett.
Present. Could we have a motion to approve the minutes of our March 5th meeting as presented?
Motion approved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
David Rodas.
Yes.
Mike Brinkley.
Yes.
Terry Griffin.
Yes.
Jerry Nolte.
Yes.
Tom Decker.
No.
And Chairman Brad Scarlett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The first case we will hear tonight is case number May 24-104-RZ/P. Could we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to add this staff report as part of the official record.
Yes.
All right, so for our first case tonight, we got the rezoning and preliminary for the proposed subdivision Paradise Ridge. Currently, the property sits at roughly 38 acres, zoned agricultural, unplatted, and has access from C and W Highway. The proposal is to split the 38 acres into 4 lots. Lots 1 and 2 would be between 5 and 6.5 acres, and zoned residential ranchette or R5. Lots 3 and 4 would be between 10 and 16 acres and be zoned residential rural or R1. Lots 1 through 4 will all have the agricultural land preservation. Lots 1 and 3 will be accessed from W Highway, and lots 2 and 4 will have access from C Highway. There is also a blue line stream. You can kind of see it on your map here. The buffer that's put in place that's from the plat. This proposal falls under the natural resources tier of the 2008 Clay County Comprehensive Plan, which allows for 1 unit per 20 acres or an exception to the 20-acre minimum being 5+ acres with an agricultural land preservation. So staff believes that it is compliant with the comprehensive plan. These are your standard rezoning criteria you see with all of your rezoning cases, and they're also attached to your staff report. This is the surrounding area, and the yellow outline there, that's the subject property. You can see to the west you have some Smithville Lake and some other large lot agricultural, some R1 zoning, some R1A, older zoning in there. There's a real big mix of different lot sizes in here. Just south of the property, there's about a 3.8 acre lots, and then over to that little subdivision there, I think it's Paradise Acres, is roughly 5 acre lots in there. So staff has received opposition leading up to the meeting, and you guys should have the letters in front of you that their main concerns dealt with the size of the lots, and they did have concern on one of the accesses there off of C Highway. With all our rezoning cases, we publish the case in the newspaper. We post a rezoning sign out on the site and send letters with any property within 1,000 feet. In this case, we sent a total of 15. We've received no objections from outside agencies, and that they have given their approval. Staff is recommending approval with one condition, and that deals with the changes to the recording copy of the plat. Staff would be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is present.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments? Thank you. Would the applicant please step forward and state your name and address?
Good evening, I'm Kyle Meyer, a member of Marathon Farms. My address is 939 Northeast 401 Road, Warrensburg, Missouri, 64093. And to kind of follow up on what Shane just reviewed with you, as he indicated, I'm here to request rezoning of this property that's just east of Paradise, Missouri, at the northwest intersection of Highway C and Highway W. Requesting rezoning to R5 with an ALP overlay on lots 1 and 2. Requesting rezoning from ag to R1 on lots 3 and 4. As he indicated, the respective lot sizes, as you can see, on the presentation that they put together, range in size from 5 to 16.34 acres. Been working with Kip and Shane and their team with planning and zoning for the last several months to get this ready to present to you all. I believe I've met the requirements of the 2008 comprehensive plan, addressing the rezoning criteria in the land development code for Clay County. The proposed lot sizes are all at least 5 acres or larger. All will have an ALP overlay as required by the zoning requirements. And then the surrounding area, as Shane indicated, there are multiple lots in the immediate area that are actually less than 4 acres, several less than 5, and then multiple lots in the 10 to 20 acre range. And so my smallest lots are larger than the smallest lots that are already in existence in the vicinity. And then my largest lots are smaller than some of the existing lots that are larger than that in the immediate vicinity. As far as outside agencies go, as Shane indicated, I've met approval with MoDOT for all 4 driveway entrances. They've been approved. Clinton County Public Water has also approved that these lots will not have any negative impact to their existing water system. Clay County Health has issued approval for soil morphology. And then NRCS has also reviewed the 2 ponds that are on the property, said they're in good condition and won't have any negative environmental impact. So in summary, I believe I've met the requirements for Clay County comprehensive plan to request approval for rezoning, subject to all the conditions in Exhibit A that Shane mentioned, which are all just some minor adjustments to the plat that need to be made both on the preliminary and final plat. So happy to answer any questions you have.
Does anyone on the board have any questions? Do you understand the staff's report?
I do.
Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the application being heard? None? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that opposes the application being heard? None? Does anyone on the board have any other comments? Can I have a motion for the case being heard?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Can we have a roll call vote?
David Rodas,
Yes.
Tom Decker,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Jerry Nolte,
Yes.
and Chairman Brad Scarlett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next case we're going to hear tonight
Well,
is,
so that was for the rezoning, so we'll need a motion on the preliminary plat with condition.
can we have a motion for rezoning?
I think we just did the rezoning.
I'm saying for the
Go on.
plat.
Now we're after a preliminary plat,
For the
Yes, sir.
preliminary plat?
and the conditions need to be attached to the preliminary plat.
Yes, sir.
With
I'd make a motion to approve the preliminary plat of Paradise Ridge with the conditions attached as are set out in Exhibit A.
Second.
Can we have a roll call vote?
Tom Decker,
Yes.
David Rotis,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Jerry Nolte,
Yes.
and Chairman Brad Scarlett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so the next case is May 24-105F, which is the final plat approval. If the board doesn't have any other comments, I believe we can ask for a motion.
Shane just has a quick, I don't want to limit Shane's mic time, so he's got a quick presentation.
All right, Shane.
All right, I'd like to add this staff report as part of the official record.
Yes, please.
So this is the final plat for Paradise Ridge. Staff believes that the final plat is compliant with the approved preliminary plat, and it meets section 151-3.6D of the 2011 Land Development Code. And again, staff recommends approval with one condition that deals with changes to the recording copy of the plat. Staff would be happy to answer any questions the commissioners may have, and the applicant is present.
Does anyone on the board have questions?
I do not.
Thank you. Can the applicant please step forward, state your name and address for the record?
Yes, I'm Kyle Meyer, member of Marathon Farms. Address is 939 Northeast Highway Northeast 401 Road, Warrensburg, Missouri, 64093.
Do you understand the staff's report?
I do.
Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment supporting the case being heard? No. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that opposes the application being heard? No. Any other board discussion? Can I have a motion, please?
I think the applicant's done a fine job to present his case, and I certainly respect the two letters that we got this evening from adjacent property owners, but the applicant's fulfilled his obligations and satisfied the county requirements, and therefore I'd make a motion to approve the final plat of Paradise Ridge with the conditions attached set out in Exhibit A.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Tom Decker,
Yes.
David Rotis,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Jerry Nolte,
Yes.
Chairman Brad Scarlett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I was trying to rush that final one right along, wasn't I? Third case we have tonight is May 24-106 CUP. Can we have the staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman, we'd like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
Yes.
So this is a conditional use permit request for a indoor recreational facility, and I'll let the applicant talk more about the specific uses in the facility, but I'm going to give you kind of a broad outline. So the property in question is the kind of bluish property. It's roughly 3.1 acres. It's on the northwest corner of A Highway and 112th Street. It abuts the Legacy Park subdivision to the west and the north. It is currently unplatted. It is zoned C2, which is one of our commercial zoning, so it's already zoned commercial. It's been zoned commercial since 2005, but it's been undeveloped since 2005. It's one lot. There are no structures on the subject parcel. The proposal is for a 14,000 square foot building, a parking lot with approximately 95 spaces. There would be stormwater infrastructure requirements to capture the stormwater from the building and the parking lot. And it's basically a recreation facility that's going to have a couple volleyball courts, see some offices, and then a workout or fitness area, and I'll show you the interior layout here in a minute. The applicant, with any conditional use permit, we require a business plan. The applicant submitted a business plan which provided greater detail. That was part of the staff report. Here is a layout of the interior. You can see the areas in red are the 2 volleyball courts. You can see some concession stands, restrooms, offices, and then I believe the green area is kind of the workout fitness area. But the applicant can provide some additional information with that. I want to talk to the surrounding area because this is a unique area. So if this allows me to draw our subject parcels right there, you can see this is Liberty. You can see Kansas City over here. This area over here in Liberty is proposed to be the Montage development, which is a massive development that is commercial, industrial, residential. They are estimating that if that gets done, there would be approximately 10,000 people in that area. You can see this is Liberty North High School to the south, and then anything up here in the color is unincorporated Clay County. We'll talk about the City of Liberty here in a minute because we did reach out to them. So when we look at the comprehensive plan and the land development code, since it's located so close to Liberty and Kansas City, it's located in the urban services tier. This conditional use permit has similar criteria to what Shane spoke about with rezoning, but they are a little bit different. The burden of proof is on the applicant to show that they meet these criteria. When we look at the comprehensive plan, we look at the intent of the comprehensive plan, and we also look at the allowed uses. With the urban services tier, the intent is to promote urban development compatible with long-range plans of adjacent cities. So we reached out to both Kansas City and Liberty with this proposal. We did not receive any comments from Kansas City, and I'll talk about the comments from Liberty here in a minute. In the urban services tier, it does list some non-residential uses, such as limited commercial and recreation. So staff feels this meets the comprehensive plan for a couple reasons. This is an area where it's going to have commercial, industrial in the future. We believe we have addressed the issues from the City of Liberty, and I'll talk about those here in a minute. And we talked about the Montage development, which is a bigger development across the street. So let's talk about the land development code and permitted uses. So I said this is already zone commercial. It's zone C2. So there's a table in the land development code, beginning of chapter 6, that lists every use that's allowed within C2 zoning. For recreation indoor, it lists that a conditional use permit is required. However, there are other uses that are just allowed by right, and there wouldn't have to be a public meeting. So I listed some of those in the presentation today, which included daycare would be allowed. All they would have to do is get a building permit for all these uses to build the structure. Daycare is allowed, parks and rec, religious assembly, bar or lounge, cabin rentals, convenience store, restaurant, or trailer sales. Those are all permitted by right in that C2 zoning. So City of Liberty, when we received the application, we sent them what the proposal was, and they came back with comments. At that point, there was not a traffic study. So we requested a traffic analysis from the applicant. They submitted that analysis. It was part of that staff report that was attached to the record. And then we also had the county on-call engineer review that report, and the county on-call engineer agreed with that report, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Their second concern was a commercial use on a septic system. So if I go back to the area, so right next door, right there is the private sewer system for Legacy Park. So we worked with the applicant and the sewer system, and it was determined that they could hook up to the existing sewer system, which in staff's view was a plus because we're not adding another septic system for a commercial use. So the way that's going to work is they are going to have a pre-treatment system on the parcel with the recreational facility, It will pre-treat it, then send it to the Legacy Park sewer system where it will be finished. I don't know all the ins and outs, but the finished treatment is completed then, and it goes out with the discharge from the Legacy Park system. There will be easements that will need to be in place because once that system's installed, the authority for that sewer system will manage the whole system, and Mr. Smith will just pay a monthly sewer bill basically to the sewer system or the sewer company. So let's talk about the traffic analysis a little bit. So that, as I stated, that report was included in the staff report. It gave some details, and the recommendations from that report were that, and again, I'll go back to the aerial. So you can see the brush on the east side of the lot. Their recommendations were there's a berm and brush in that area, to cut down that berm, cut down the brush, and make the sight distance better looking to the north. They also recommended that the stop bar on 112th, as you're looking east, be moved closer to A Highway, so when you stop there, you see better north. We did not put the stop bar as a condition. We'd like to see that improvement, but we're trying at this point to determine if that's within county right-of-way or state right-of-way, and who can approve that moving of that stop bar. So we did receive several calls with questions from citizens leading up to the meeting. We published this case in the newspaper, posted a sign on site, and sent 52 letters. We've received no objections from outside agencies, and staff is recommending approval with 14 conditions. I want to call a couple of those conditions to your attention. We've placed a 10-year term on the CUP. Every CUP has a time where it has to be renewed. 10-year is similar to what we've done with wedding venues. That's the most similar use that we could come up with. We put a requirement that they connect to the Legacy Park sewer system. They record that easement with the sewer provider. And the applicant agreed to a condition that if city sewer becomes available after that first 10-year term is up, that they would connect to the city sewer within a 5-year time period. So I think because the long-term goal would not to be to allow it to hook onto city sewers if possible. We did receive a memorandum of understanding from Lake Area Wastewater, which is the firm that manages that sewer system. So that was at your desk because we received that after the report was completed. And I would be happy to answer any questions you have, and the applicant is present as well.
Does anyone on the board have questions? Thank you.
Yeah, I would have a question while you're still at the podium.
I should have left.
I respect the 10-year duration or time frame for the CUP. But this is a pretty substantial capital investment. And I don't know, to be fair to the applicants, would it not be worthy to just maybe take it up to 15-year duration? I would certainly rather I've seen the artist renditions of their building, the parking lot. Looks like a first-class act. I'd certainly rather have a recreation facility across the street than I would a convenience store or a bar. So,
Yeah, and the commission could decide to amend that condition, but also.
Does that violate the LEC or no?
No, sir. You could choose to change that, because I don't have a whole lot of heartburn with that, because if there are any violations, we can always bring this case back in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission or County Commission. And also keep in mind with the way we're doing our new processes with the update to the Land Development Code, a renewal of a conditional use permit is an easier process where they actually, if they don't have any code violations, staff can approve that renewal. So it is a more streamlined process, but you could choose to change that time period.
They'd always be subject to losing the conditional use permit if there are violations of the permit.
Yes, that's a standard condition on every CUP.
Okay. Thank you.
Kip, there's one other thing. The condition number 11 from the Highway Department, we were not aware that at the time that we made that recommendation, that the entrance must be 100 feet away from a highway, that MoDOT has requested 220 feet from the intersection. And so we'd like to adjust that recommendation to match MoDOT's recommendation of 220 feet.
Okay, so then I would say the same thing with that one. If the board wants to do that, we would need a motion to amend that from 100 to 220.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm done.
Any other questions or comments before he leaves? All right, thank you. Would the applicant please step forward, state your name and address?
Hi, my name is Jared Smith. Address is 10612 Northeast 102nd Terrace, in Kansas City, Missouri, 64157.
Do you understand the staff's report?
I do.
Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Did you have any issues with the highway department moving the entrance from 150 to 220 feet?
No, I actually recognized the same thing on the traffic report, and we briefly talked about it, and Kip was unaware of your guys' fact that you were unaware of the recommendation, so we're good there.
Okay. Do you have any other things that you would like to present?
I'd like to just quickly go through, let's say a little bit about myself. I don't like to talk about myself, so I'll be quick there, but just a little bit about what's going into this project. Because like you, I certainly agree with, I think, as opposed to a bar or something else that could go into that spot, a convenience store, whatever, that this recreational facility would be much better for the community. So, but just for the record, I'm a teacher here in Liberty. I've been a resident of the county for 30 years, graduated from Excelsior Springs High School, went to William Jewell College, got a master's in teaching, doctorate in performance psychology, and I live here with my great family, my wonderful family, and I get the opportunity to serve our youth here in the county. And it's just it's an awesome thing. It's some of them here supporting us tonight, which I'm very thankful for. One of them is going to actually speak to you guys at the conclusion of this. So I'm going to click through this pretty quickly. This is a flyer that we handed out to the neighbors. Let me go back. Just so they were aware of what's going to go on out there. So we actually had some support from a neighbor, which I'll bring up their statement here in just a second. These are the 4 individuals that are going to be heading up this whole project. Here we go. Okay, this is our volleyball club. We started this club a few years ago with the intent of serving the community, like I said. So we've done a pretty good job. My co-founder, Tessa Brophy, is here tonight. We notice that the Northland is losing a lot of probably business, economic benefits from what a volleyball club could bring to the community. But in addition to that, we really just wanted to make sure that we were starting a club that had good intentions of helping young individuals grow and develop in the game of volleyball. My gym that started in 2011 is where we operate out of right now. It's a pretty small space. It's out in Pleasant Valley. We trying to grow. That's why we're trying to build this new building. So one of my co-founders back here is Derek Smith. He's here tonight as well. We started this gym with the intent of serving people because our passion is to truly serve people and human performance. And I just wanted to echo some of these statements that have already been said tonight. I'm not going to go too much into detail in the criteria that we've met for the conditional use permit, but here is the original plat for this area here. There's a convenience store, as you can see, a retail center, which would mean if you put in a retail shopping center, you're going to be looking at something similar to what you see up by the Price Chopper in this area. Starbucks, or as we said, there are other things that could go into that. That would be of much less benefit to the community. And there it is zoomed in so we can see a little bit better. So here's that comment from a Legacy Park resident. Again, it echoes much of what's been said, but they said, as a resident of Legacy Park with young kids, I welcome the addition of Optimum Volleyball Club. Volleyball Club's new facility to our neighborhood. As developments continue north up a highway, we don't need another gas station or Starbucks. Our kids need to be more active and have opportunities to train and be coached without going all the way to Johnson County or Lee Summit. And I just have a long list of testimonies here, so I'm just going to click through them. I think Kip, I don't know if Kip included them. You guys had them in a packet, so I'm just going to click through them. There's no need to read through all of them. One thing I do want to point out, though, is that there are teachers and environmental engineers that are on this list. There are families from the community. There are current student athletes. There are gold medalists. There are professional athletes. We serve a lot of people at our gym, and we'll continue to serve more at this new location. So here is the drawing of the new facility. Here's the location that we've already spoke on, and this is the montage stuff. No need to rehash that, but just some questions that might get asked, and we've already gone over the traffic analysis, so I'll kind of skip through that, this piece of it. And we've talked about the connection to the septic, how that would benefit the community. They already had plans to upgrade the system, and we're just going to be a part of that. And then, of course, the property values question that everybody would ask. And I just want to point out that we'll do our best to maintain a cleanly and professional environment, something that people can look at and be proud of, and would do nothing more than probably help property values in the area. So there's a summary of everything we've talked about tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and ask Molly to come up and read her testimony for you guys.
Hold on for that. We've got a few steps before that.
Okay.
That's all right. Does the board have any questions? All right. Thank you.
Chairman, can I add and I want Jared to confirm this, those drawings are conceptual. So that's not a written in stone, that's what the building's going to look like, correct?
That's correct, yeah, conceptual drawings.
So we still need an architect, site.
Yeah, I just don't want, for the record, if it doesn't look exactly that way, it's probably going to change some, but it'll meet all the building code standards and everything like that.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Molly can come up.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to comment that supports the application being heard? Please state your name and address.
Molly Moran, 10570 Northeast Ranking Road, Kansas City, Missouri, 64156. So I'm an employee of Flash Performance as well as an athlete for Optimum Volleyball Club 16-1's team. I would like to take this opportunity today to present you my feelings on OVC and Flash and how building them this new facility will be such a great thing for the community and the people that surround it. So this will be my third year attending Flash Performance, and I find myself there 5 to 6 times a week, either working, practicing, or training in the gym. I would argue that I spend more time at Flash than I do at my own home, and my mom would agree. Flash has created a safe, home-like environment for me that makes me feel welcome and safe. When I have a bad day or just need to escape from stress, Flash is the place that I want to be. The Smiths and Tessa are very hardworking and caring people that never fail to put a smile on my face. They always push me to be the best athlete and person I possibly can be. My intentions are to play in college for volleyball, and I now know that that goal is achievable with Optimum Volleyball and Jared Smith by my side. Optimum Volleyball Club and all the people associated with it have become a family to me. I want OVC to continue to grow so it can become a home to others as it is to me. I appreciate the time and the consideration that you have to listen to me today. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to comment that supports the application being heard? No one? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that opposes the application being heard? please step forward and state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Jay O'Brien, 308 Nashville Road, Liberty, Missouri 64068. Remax Revolution. I stand before you not only as a representative of my client who currently has a home for sale in Legacy Park, but also as a concerned member of our community. Our city has thrived on the balance between residential and community spaces, ensuring harmony and quality of life for our residents. Today, I urge you to consider the importance of preserving the delicate balance between developing commercial properties that directly abut residential areas. The proposal on the table seeks to develop a commercial property adjacent to my client's residential property, which is Lot 30 in Legacy Park. While economic growth and development are undeniably crucial for our city's progress, we must also prioritize the well-being and the rights of our residential community. Now, I fully support the development of Liberty and of small businesses within, and I encourage the development of the surrounding area. However, it seems the wise way to allow for such development while maintaining home values is to create a proper buffer zone or an easement allowing enough area to insulate the noise, light, crowd, and visual disturbances that a commercial area brings. I'm suggesting this committee consider leaving at least a 100-foot buffer between the residential properties and the proposed commercial site, which includes leaving mature trees in place to create a natural barrier. Please let me illustrate what I'm talking about. My clients have listed their home for sale 26 days ago in Legacy Park. Since then, we've had 15 showings, 2 of which were second showings, which means the same client has seen the property again, typically to narrow their search and often to write an offer. The consistent feedback, which I have copies of here, has been the reluctance to purchase due to the commercial structure, which may or may not be built directly in their backyard, a mere 50 feet from the back door of my client's house, which is basically from where I'm standing to the back wall of this property. Of this room, I'm sorry. In a market that we're currently in of multiple offers and often above list price offers, we actually have had to reduce our price $10,000 over the current month we've been on market, and we still have yet to find a buyer. One agent in the last month has told me, verbatim quote, his clients would have bought this house on opening weekend for the price, which mind you was $10,000 higher if it wasn't for the commercial property going in directly behind him. So obviously my clients have lost at least $10,000 and we still don't have a buyer yet. In conclusion, I urge this committee to carefully consider the necessity of implementing a buffer space between the proposed commercial development and the adjacent residential properties that it's directly affecting. By doing so, we can strike a nice balance between economic growth and the preservation of our community's well-being, and let us ensure that our city continues to thrive as a place where both businesses and residents can flourish side by side. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Any questions?
When was Legacy Park, when was it built out? Do you know?
10 years ago? Yes, sir.
So this 3 acres we're talking about was rezoned commercial C2 in 2005, so that was 19 years ago. So the homeowners in Legacy Park could have been aware that there was commercial property right across the street.
Yes, sir, that's correct. It's been vacant like that for this entire time, which you're absolutely right. It's been that way, and it's timing, I guess, for going pending the same time that my clients decided to move or other clients potentially could be moving. But what I'm suggesting is there's not a buffer or a thought in place that when they do decide to move, potential concrete or a Starbucks or a building could be right out their back door, potentially right there on their back lot. So I think that the compromise or the wise decision would just be creating a space that allows a building to be built just as proposed, but just allowing the residents to still have their property and still maintain the property values while allowing the commercial site to still be built.
Yes, part of the conditional use permit is that screening would be installed around the building. I guess it'd be on the west and north sides of the property. And that's mainly landscape buffers, evergreen trees, something like that.
Yes, sir, I agree with that. And all due respect, usually when they do clearing of a site, they normally knock all the trees down. And I think the proposal on a C2 talked about a 6-foot fence and then possibly planting new trees, which you know might be immature trees, which eventually would grow up over time. So if my clients were to sell now at a loss, they wouldn't realize their gain, and the new buyers it would be years before they would see a nice, mature tree in their backyard or a small 6-foot fence, So I feel like the trees that are in place now might be the easy, sensible solution, so.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Would the applicant like to respond to any of the public participation's comments? Specifically the buffer area.
Absolutely. The concept as it stands right now is we are well over 100 feet from that person's property line, but we do, as he had stated, we do plan to maintain as much of the natural tree line or developed tree line that's there already, but we're also going to landscape as well as best we can to minimize any audible or visual disruption to the area. So
currently you're 100 feet from the property line?
yeah, as the site plan sits now, that building itself is well beyond.
And that includes the parking area?
I believe so, yes.
There's a water retention area that's right off the back there that will be.
You need to come up here so if you're going to make comments.
Okay. So is there any other comments that you'd like to make regarding the development of the site and the surrounding homes?
No.
Okay, thank you.
And I will add, it may not address this specific situation, but there is a condition that requires screening of the building and parking, or of the parking areas from A Highway and 112th. So as you're coming south on A Highway, looking that way, depending on what you can see, topographically wise, there may have to be some landscaping in that area.
From A Highway as well as 112th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what specifically is required on the backside backing up to the subdivision?
There are no requirements. They would just have to meet our setback requirements for the building, but we don't. The Land Development Code does not have a requirement for maintaining, the wooded area or anything like that.
Okay. Would you like to make another comment? Step up to the podium.
Unless Mr. Smith wants to buy a house, I have a great location for you. It's a nice house, that's all. Yes, sir.
Is there anyone else who'd like to make a comment?
Good evening. My name is Sean Hensher. I'm at 11221 Zachary Drive. So that's Liberty 64068. It's literally right behind the commercial structure. Jay pretty much went over everything that I was concerned with. The only other thing is just what you had mentioned, that there's no regulations. But there are for the C2 that I've read that basically says that the lighting sources shall be designated and located. The direct source of light should be shielded away from any residential property. And then secondly, about the fence line, either needs to be kind of a 6-foot green fence or some type of landscape structure. So in your C2 Commercial Services District, there is some information in there that is required for the building permit. So I just wanted to make note of that.
I think the earlier comment was that there is along 112th and A Highway.
Yeah, there's a condition that says 112th and A Highway has to have landscaping. There may be a fencing requirement between C2 and residential zoning. If there is, we'll enforce that. That's not listed as a condition, but if it's in the code, we'll enforce it. There is a condition that says lighting shall be directed downward. We'll obviously enforce that as well. We don't have lighting requirements, but it's my understanding Mr. Smith wants to do some lighting in the parking lot.
Any other comments?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else have a comment that opposes the application being heard?
Yes.
My name is John Kitasari. I live at 11312 Taylor Drive in Legacy Park, Liberty, Missouri. My real only concern here is the septic system. We had our homeowners association meeting 1 week ago yesterday, and we were told at that meeting that this would not affect our current septic private sewer system. And that is not what I've learned today. I'm just, want to go on record as saying that until we get an answer on that, I'd like to see a little bit more information.
Well, we do have additional information on that in which they have agreed. So was the comment that it will not affect it or it will not be tied in?
Would not be tied in, was the comment that was made at our homeowner association last Monday evening.
I would suggest you get with planning and zoning and get a copy
That's
of
fine.
this.
That's fine. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we don't have any control over your HOA, so.
Yeah, and I would say from a planning perspective, from our point of view, it's much better to have that tied onto that system, not have another septic system out there. That's just standard planning, good planning practice.
Okay.
And Jared can tell you that when I heard that news, that was the best news I heard in a long time, so.
All right, does the board have any comments or questions?
Yeah, earlier I kind of mentioned that the 15-year timeframe for the CUP. Does any board members have thoughts on that? I think we're talking about a pretty substantial capital investment.
I would want it myself.
I think, out of respect to the applicant, to up the duration of the CUP to 15 years from 10. And he's also aware that if there's any violations of the CUP that in 1 year, 2 year, 8 years, you know, he could be called out on any violations. So, and if the consensus of the board is to stick with 10-year, then I'm fine with that, but I would propose a 15-year.
Why don't we, do we have any other comments?
I would think if a lending institution was involved, they'd feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
So there's two motions that I want to present. I think I can fold them into one. So the first will be moving the entrance back from 150 feet from the intersection to 220 feet as recommended by the Highway Department, the State Highway Department. And the second is changing the CUP from 10-year to a 15-year. Can I have a motion to approve those two items for the conditions?
I would make a motion to approve those two amendments to the exhibits.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Can I have a roll call vote?
Tom Decker,
Yes.
David Rotis,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Jerry Nolte,
Yes.
Chairman Brad Scarlett.
Yes.
Motion carries, and staff will make the changes to those conditions.
And they will be included in any vote that we take tonight if we do it based on conditions, correct?
Yeah, so you've amended the condition, so you'll need a motion to approve, and that will carry those two new conditions to county commission.
Can I have a motion for the case being heard?
Excuse me, I think the applicant's done a good job to present his case, and, you know, the property was rezoned commercial C2 19 years ago. Legacy Park was built out 10 years ago, so it's not that the commercial zoning came in after Legacy Park. And I would make a motion to approve the conditional use permit with exhibits in attachment A, including the two minor changes that we just voted on.
Can we have a second? Second. Can I have a staff vote? Roll call vote.
Tom Decker,
Yes.
David Rotis,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Jerry Nolte,
Yes.
Chairman Brad Scarlett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do we have any other comments tonight?
Yeah, I've got a couple, Chairman. So we will have a June meeting, it looks like. If that changes, we will reach out to you. But it looks like we're going to have at least one case. Comprehensive plan update is we have received a draft version of part of the plan. Staff is currently reviewing that. That is going to go and be presented to the Citizen Stakeholder Committee and county staff on May 21st. And then there is a joint Planning and Zoning Commission and County Commission meeting on June 13th, which is a Thursday at 6 p.m. So unfortunately, you're going to have double duty in June. But if you can make that June 13th meeting, it will be a good one because Olson will be presenting kind of the framework of the update to the comprehensive plan. And then the cases from the previous meeting have all been approved, so we're set there. And I think that is all staff has.
Do we have anything regarding from legal counsel? All right.
Good meeting with the attorney that night.
We are dismissed.
These are the Smiths.
I think the real issue with the people who were behind it was that they